What's up, Sanctum? I'm back, and this week we're going to talk about dealing with depression. So this is a topic that I don't necessarily like talking about, but I feel like I need to talk about it because it's so prevalent in our community especially. It's really hard to come out sometimes and not have support from anyone. Or maybe you have support from like a few people, but your family doesn't accept you, or maybe you're just going through a lot of heartache right now with trying to date, and there's just so many factors and so many things that can cause depression. And sometimes it's not even environmental circumstances, sometimes it's just genetic and it just happens. So I'm gonna make a confession. I've suffered from depression. If you've watched my It Gets Better video on the same channel, I talked a little bit about dealing with depression. And I went to counseling, I was on medication for a while, and I was able to overcome the depression from that time. That was about like 5 years ago. But unfortunately, sometimes depression can come back. And that's exactly what happened to me the past, last half of a year or so. I started to develop anxiety. And with the anxiety came depression. And yes, I am happily married. Yes, I have a lot of things that I am very grateful for. But just because my life seems to be together in so many ways doesn't mean that I can't suffer from depression. I wanted to make this video this week because I wanted to break the stigma of mental illness. Mental illness can affect anyone at any time. So there shouldn't be any judgment for those people that suffer from mental illness, because the majority of the population is going to suffer from mental illness, and it's going to come out in your early 20s usually. So I felt like if I talked about my experiences and gave some kind of tips about how I try to deal with it, I could help you guys out. So that's what I'm going to do this week. First and foremost, I highly recommend seeking out a professional. Maybe you don't have insurance and so it won't cover you seeking a psychiatrist or a psychologist, but a lot of the LGBT centers have free counseling. So I highly suggest seeking out a professional of some sort. Seek out a local community center, an LGBT center, just anywhere that you can look to have that professional, because that professional is able to really diagnose you and really go through what treatment would work best for you. If you work with a professional, you're more than likely going to be able to go through the process a lot easier. I mean, depression isn't easy, but it really helps to have someone that knows what they're talking about, knows what they're doing, and knows which way to direct you. Yes, some of those professionals do suggest that you go on medication, and I know medication can be scary for a lot of us. A lot of us are against going on medication, but honestly, if that's the best treatment for you, then I highly suggest trying it. If for some reason that's not working for you, or that's just not an option for you, then I'm gonna try to give you some other tips and other ways that I work through my depression. I really want you guys to know that there is no quick fix for depression. I know that sucks, you don't want to hear that, but battling depression is a long journey. It's gonna take time. Some days you're gonna feel awesome, some days you're not gonna feel so awesome, but you have to just try. You have to keep moving forward, or else the depression is just going to keep bringing you down. So as a pastor, I'm always going to suggest prayer. Yes, I know it's cliche. Yes, you may not want to hear it, but let me tell you why you should. Prayer isn't just about begging God for what you want. Prayer is about having an open communication with someone that's always going to be there to support you. You may not always feel God, or you may not always think that God is there, but He is always there, and He is always watching over you. So when you're able to pray and to just give God all of that emotion that you're holding on to, whether it be your circumstances, your pain, just anything that you're going through, anything that you're struggling with, you're getting it out of your heart and out of your mind, and you're laying it down. And when you do that, you're releasing all of that. So yes, you're asking God to help you and to heal you, and maybe it's not happening as fast as you would like it to, but that is part of the process. So when you're able to just lay down all of that gunk that's inside of you, you're releasing yourself and you're letting your body kind of be at peace. And when you do this continually, you're not holding on to all that negative emotion and all that negative stuff that's hurting you and that's bringing you down, but you're freeing yourself, you're releasing yourself. You start to feel lighter. And before you know it, you're not going to feel as depressed as you once did before. Now, if you don't want to pray, you don't believe in prayer, things of that nature, I highly suggest meditating. I even suggest meditating and praying. So what meditation does is it's not just about sitting there trying to find Zen or whatever. Meditation is about looking inside yourself and letting those thoughts come into your head, but then again, releasing them. So if it's hard for you to meditate and you've tried it and you just don't think you're very good at it, I really suggest doing it for very small periods of time and working your way up. I never thought I was going to be able to meditate. I thought that it was stupid and it wasn't going to help me and I couldn't sit still for that long. But I've been able to work my way up to 15 minutes. If you've never meditated before, that you look up a meditation guide, maybe like an app on your phone or on YouTube, or just, whatever resources you want to look for into beginner's meditation. But all you really have to do is sit down somewhere quietly, close your eyes, focus on breathing, and just let whatever thoughts come to your head come to your head. And once you're done meditating, just let all of those thoughts go and don't pick them up again. Exercise is a great way to give your body that natural serotonin that it needs to make you feel good. And I'm not saying that you have to go do something super vigorous like run or lift a bunch of weights and make yourself sweat. And no, that's not what you need to do. When you're depressed, it's hard to get up and move around sometimes. So I really suggest doing yoga, because yoga is very easy on the body. It's not strenuous. You're able to just do it at your own pace. And there's a pose called corpse pose. And I read it in an article one day, because when you're depressed, there's some days where you just want to, you feel like you're on the ground. So it's a good way to just start on the ground. So what you do is you lay on the ground on your back, and your arms are to your side relaxed, your legs are out in front of you relaxed, and you close your eyes and you just breathe. So just allow yourself to start in corpse pose, and then work your way up to doing some more of the other poses. There's all sorts of YouTube videos doing yoga. I do them all the time, because yoga, along with meditation and along with praying and stuff like that, it's just allowing you to kind of relax and letting your body get rid of all that stress that you're holding on to because of that depression and all those bad feelings and things that you're holding on to. It just gives you something to focus on besides that. And because you're working out and you're moving, you're allowing yourself to get that natural serotonin that your brain needs to make you feel better. And once you start doing it slowly and gradually, you can work your way up to doing other types of exercises. If you don't want to do yoga, you can take walks every now and again. You can go for a walk over here, you can go for a walk over there. I mean, that new Pokemon Go app is out, so that'll give you an incentive to go walk. Go walk 5 miles, try to catch all the Pokemon that you can. Just kidding, you don't have to walk that far. But I'm just saying, you've got to move your body, because the more stagnant you stay, the more you're stuck in that depressed, nasty state of mind and just not motivated to do anything. So if you can get yourself out every now and again and keep trying to get yourself out, it's only going to help you. Those of you that like to write, it is very therapeutic for you to write out your emotions and just get all that stuff that you want to get out, just get it out. Because you don't always have the ability to just scream at the top of your lungs or punch pillows or things like that. I mean, if you can and you want to, then by all means get those emotions out. Don't hold on to them in a healthy way. Don't go like punching people in the face or anything like that. Don't do that. Like, I have an online blog every now and again, or an online journal, whatever, and when I really feel the need to vent and I just can't hold on to those feelings anymore, I'm gonna explode, I just go on there and I just type out everything that I need to say. And no one's gonna read it. It's on private, so no one can ever read it. And it's a great way to just get out of that moment and out of all of those negative emotions and things that I just don't know what to do with, basically. If you don't like to write, I mean, you should try anything and everything if you want to get out of your depression, because you never know what might work for you. If you're the type that likes to read, there are so many types of self-help books out there that can get you started on your way to feeling better. I recently read one called You Are a Badass, and I absolutely love that book. It's by Jen Sincero, and it's at Target, on Amazon. You can find it almost anywhere. It really helped me with where I was and how I was feeling, because I was depressed, I think, a lot because of circumstance. I had a lot of life changes happen to me from the end of last year to the beginning of this year. And I think through all of that is where the anxiety and the depression started to come from. So it was really cool being able to read something that kind of opened my eyes a little bit and to think about my life differently and to start trying different things to try to get out of this depression. So look for self-help books There's all sorts of them on the internet, on Amazon. Google, Google, Google. Google is your best friend. Like, look for books, look up reviews, and even other people will say, you know, whether or not that book helped them. So look up books on how to deal with depression or how to get out of depression. It is so important to try and find a support system of some sort as you're going through your depression. If you can find, you know, friends and family that are going to be there for you, that kind of understand what you're going through and will allow you to draw the boundaries of things that actually will help you, instead of them just trying to pull you out of the depression. Like, if you tell them, hey, can you try to get me out of the house a little bit more, but not so much that it's gonna overwhelm me and make me not want to go anywhere? Or can you help me with this? Or can I talk to you when I'm feeling bad? Like, if you can find a support system of some sort, it's so empowering because you realize that you're not alone fighting this. If you can find a support group of some sort, like through the LGBT center or through a community center, anywhere around that you can find, maybe group counseling, so that you know that you have other people that know exactly what you're going through. Know that it's okay for you to have some of those days where you just want to be alone, and maybe you hide yourself from the world, maybe you stay in bed all day, maybe you binge watch TV all day, maybe you cry a little bit, or you just want to get away from everybody. That's completely normal and that's completely okay. Just don't let that be the only thing that you do. Just try to work on getting back to that point to where you like doing things again. I don't know what your hobbies are. Maybe you like doing art. Maybe you like to write. Maybe you like to sing and play instruments, or whatever you like to do, play sports, work out. But the depression is taking a hold of you, so you don't want to do those things as much anymore. Well, try to surround yourself with people that will allow you to do that still. Maybe you have people that you like to play music with. Maybe try to meet with them every now and again when you're not feeling so bad, so you can play a little bit. Because that'll kind of remind you, hey, I really do still love doing this. I don't want to stop. Or maybe your depression allows you to create in that emotion. Maybe if you're a painter, or you can draw, or, you know, some sort of artistic ability, maybe let that emotion kind of shine through you, so you're letting it out, but you're also creating something, and it's something that you love to do as well. Just don't ever stop doing what you love to do completely. Don't do that to yourself. It's gonna be so hard to get back in if you completely stop, and you're just gonna feel even worse, and you don't want to stay in that depression. You want to get out of that depression. I know this wasn't a fun video, I know this wasn't a fun topic to talk about, but it's something that I needed to talk about because there are so many of us that are struggling with this, and any way that I can help you guys will make me feel awesome, and I want to be able to help you guys. That's why I started this whole channel in the first place. So I hope some of these tips were helpful. I will pray for you if you want me to pray for you guys. I don't want any of you to suffer from depression, especially not for a long time, because it really sucks. I'm working through my depression, and thankfully I do feel like I'm getting better. I don't feel like I'm always going to be stuck in that. I think it was situational and circumstantial, but as I said, I'm still working through it. So you guys, if I can work through it, you guys can definitely work through it. I believe in you. I'll pray for you if you need me to pray for you. You guys are awesome. I love you. Let's get out of depression.